Here today versus the Utica Unicorns and the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers here from Jimmy John's Field in Utica, Michigan. We welcome you everyone to the United Shore Media Desk. Jeremy Otto alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring you the call here today. And we talk about standings kind of at the top because it's so important as this new push to the playoffs starts to unfold. But today you're like, yeah, the Beavers would love to win to get out of the tie, but unfortunately for them, the tie goes to the Unicorns no matter what, right?
Well, that's
true. They still want to win.
Yeah, they still will. If they don't win, I think I would flip it this way. If they don't win, they're going to have a real hard time.
Sure.
So I think that's kind of the way you look at this. They also have sort of a tough tiebreaker situation with the Hoppers because the Hoppers already have a 5-inning game in hand, and that's the tiebreaker between those two teams is the 5-inning game. So they're going to have trouble tying either of those teams if they don't win today. So really important game.
No doubt about it. You look at the pitching matchup here tonight, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but these two teams have two of the best arms in the USPBL, and they go head-to-head here today. You love to see it.
Yeah, I think if you had the entire pool of USPBL pitchers and you were going to say, I need 2 starters for these World Series games out of this whole pool of pitchers, you would say Ty Hensley and Garrett Crissman. So that's really all you can say about this matchup today. These are the 2 best starting pitchers in the league going against each other.
Could be very quick, potentially. Both guys are
Potentially. You know, we wish them well, of course. And most of the time when you go into a game like that with 2 really good aces going against each other, you don't actually get a game like that. That's just the way it works out for whatever reason. But who knows? We'll see what happens today. Fall night game, 2 great pitchers. It definitely could be a quick one.
Well, another big win overall last night for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. They've won every game but one in this push to the playoffs, including the 5-inning doubleheader game, which doesn't count. But you know, they have to sit back a little bit now because their next game is not until Saturday, and then only 2 remaining games after that. Next week they have a game versus the Mammoths and another doubleheader versus Beavers squad. But they knew that they were going to have to put the pedal to the metal early on because you don't want to sit around and then have to get some must-win games, you know, with all those days off.
Yeah, I think it got to them a little bit on Labor Day, you know, that you started to see that they were maybe a little sluggish, a little bit tired, but they got it together yesterday, got a good pitching performance. They took a page out of the Unicorns playbook with a pen day led by Nick Leo, and it worked out for them. They were pretty sharp, only allowed the 1 run, and didn't have a ton of offense yesterday, but it was enough to get by, and they're in the driver's seat now. They can sit back in a certain way. They can sit back now, but also when it is time to play, they're going to have to be ready. So that's the flip side of not having that many games left.
So they lead the fold with 12-6-6 for the Unicorns, and the Beavers trying to change that. Are both of these 2 teams here today? Let's take a peek at how they try to do it with our AAA starting lineups. First for the visiting Utica Unicorns and Jim Essian's squad here tonight. It's the left fielder Frankie Leska once again leading it off. He seems to be kind of moving to the outfield full time as this push to the playoffs unfolds here. Aaron Tack is batting second and playing right field. It's Bethencourt, Coley Curry, and Nick Snyder in the meat of the lineup here today. Seth Strong in the 6th hole, and he's only batting .222, obviously very small sample size, 2 for 9, but his slugging percentage pretty good with a double and a home run. He could be a cog to this lineup going forward if he hits well. John Hodo bats 7th and plays second base, a little bit up from where he's normally at. Jordan Finney, hot bat of late, hitting .300 in the last 10 games, catching here tonight, and Malik Blaze rounding it out and playing shortstop for the Corns here today. They'll face Garrett Crissman. And on the other end, for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, their starting lineup also brought to you by AAA of Michigan. It's the first baseman Ron Williams Jr., who will lead off again here tonight. Freddie Geely bats second and plays second base. Joey Weimer in the 3-hole and playing center field here today. Cam Comer, Sam Troyer, and TJ Riles, the meat of the order here today for Von Joshua's team. Cesar Cuevas looking to really get it going in the DH spot, batting 7. Jalen Smith and Lupton batting 8th. And Jonathan Brandt, who's been a walk machine in his last 10 games, 8 walks to 1 strikeout, will bat 9th and play shortstop once again for the Beavers here today, Dan.
It should be an interesting one. You know, it's obviously a great pitching matchup, but also, you know, these 2 teams have been a little bit up and down as far as the offenses go. Looks like they're trying a couple different things. The Beavers with Ron Williams Jr. at the top, that's a little bit of a new look, but he's swinging a pretty good bat, so I can see why they may want to try that at this point. He's been pretty hot.
And I think to this point, he's going to be a key bat going forward. Whether he's in the middle of the order, we've seen him in the 6th hole quite a bit and kind of fluctuating up and down Von Joshua's lineup so far, but another lineup key, which I kind of hit on as well. Seth Strong, I think. Overall.
Oh yeah, the Unicorns added a couple pieces. I think you mentioned Horner's on the bench today, I think, but they added a couple of key bats, and they've been doing that really as the season goes on, and it has helped a little bit. They've been a team that's built around pitching, but you got to score some runs sometimes too.
Time for your keys to the game, brought to you by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Dan, what do you got today?
Well, I'm not going to break any hearts with this one, I don't think, but it's obviously the pitching matchup today. I hate to do that because it's boring, and I think everybody expects that, but there really is no key besides this heavyweight pitching matchup between Ty Hensley and Garrett Crissman. Hensley, this is Hensley Christman 3 really. We've seen this matchup a couple times. Ty has not only won the previous 2 matchups, but he's been dominant in the previous 2 matchups. Not sure if he thinks about that kind of thing or not, but he's really stepped up his game. Some pitchers do that when they're facing a fellow ace on the other side. In the other 2 matchups, 10 innings, 0 hits. In the other 2 matchups, it's going to be tough to match that or surpass that today. But he's got a chance to do it again. So we'll see what he does.
It'll be an interesting game, certainly between these 2 aces, and maybe go a long way to see where these 2 teams finish in the standings and in the playoff seedings. You don't want the 3 or 4 spot because you have to plan those first 2 days, and you want the number 1 seed for a lot of reasons as well.
Well, the Unicorns, I'm sure, have a chip on their shoulder about it. They probably feel like they've earned that number 1 spot. At least some of the guys do, the ones that were on the core roster for July and August, and they were given a little bit of a head start here in the push for the playoffs. But I think they feel like that spot's theirs, and if they do get that spot, look out, because they can really line up their arms the way they want, and it's almost like a hard job figuring out who's going to pitch in that game if they end up nailing down that number 1 seed. But today really is important on both sides.
Now, pitching. We'll talk some more numbers when we get back for those 2 guys in our pitcher comparison, brought to you by Denso. Don't go anywhere.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
Crack open a Budweiser and experience the refreshing taste of summer. Make every moment of summer count by picking up Budweiser today.
United Shore Professional Baseball League action here on the USPBL Network is presented by Lombardo Homes here tonight, and proudly sponsored by the following: AAA, Ascension, Balfour Property Restoration, the Detroit Medical Center, DTE Energy, Dunham Sports, Dunkin' Donuts, Green for Life Environmental, Green Path Financial Wellness, Jimmy John's, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Summit Oral, and United Shore. We thank all those fine partners for what they do for our game here today and this whole season here at Jimmy John's Field. Time to take a peek at your pitcher comparison, brought to you by Denso. It's the 2 aces here tonight, Dan.
Yeah, this is beautiful. I love this kind of matchup, especially in the fall or in a pennant race. Can't get any better than this. Hensley versus Christman. A little bit different styles, but aces nonetheless. Hensley, the more overpowering fastball, power curve type guy. Crispin, more the precision command, add and subtract. Has a better than average fastball in terms of command, but doesn't blow it by you. Terrific changeup and slider to complement that. So this will be a really interesting outing tonight. That 3rd time these guys have gone head-to-head. So Ty's taking the first 2. Chrisman owes him one.
It's the Beavers and the Unicorns going at it next right here on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
were fortunate to get out when we did. Losing our family photos, our wedding pictures, can't replace it.
Can you imagine losing everything you've got? You realize that it's the little things in life that matter. Things that they thought were damaged and thrown away, all of a sudden they magically reappear. And you see the human spirit come back.
It's our pictures.
To be able to put you safely back in your home matters to us. People matter. People count. At Belfour, we're restoring more than property.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
Detroit Mercy itself definitely values who you are as a person. Not only did I take what I learned in the academic world, but I was able to apply that in a professional setting and be the first one of my family to graduate from college.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Garrett Crissman on the mound here for the Beavers tonight. You get a look at his ERA, 2.03. That's through 10 starts so far this season.
And those 2 losses were handed to him by this guy that he's facing tonight, Ty Hensley. So should be a real interesting matchup. Christman, a guy with a fast 4-seam and a 2-seam fastball that he throws for approximately half of his pitches. Ranges from about 87 to 90. Plus changeup, both command-wise and movement-wise, that he's really depends on and is very comfortable with, as well as a slider that's really been improving. A pitch that he gets 37% called strikes or swing and miss on, which is a terrific percentage for a pitch like that.
Frankie Luska, Aaron Takis, and Dominic Bethencourt, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up here in the first inning against Garrett Crissman. Overcast skies really all day long here in Metro Detroit. It's supposed to heat up a little bit later in the week. 61 degrees here at game time. It'll be 78 degrees by Saturday, and then dip back down by next Wednesday, 78 degrees. So we'll go up and down probably until the later months of September. And
I guess I should put my summer gear away until the weekend.
Maybe, yes.
I have trouble letting it go. Hasn't been a normal summer either, so it feels like maybe it shouldn't be over yet.
Frankie Luska looks at a strikeout side. 279 average for Frankie Luska. 371 on the base percentage, though, because of 9 walks compared to 11 Ks. That has gotten better as the year has gone on for Frankie. Some tail on the fastball there, the 2-seam variety. 4-seam or 2-seam, a changeup and a slider for Garrett Crissman.
There's really a significant difference between his 4-seam and 2-seam as far as the action goes. It's not always that way with every pitcher that we've seen here, but he gets a lot more tail on the 2-seam than he does the 4-seam.
And generally, he's going to throw the 4-seam a lot more as well, 36% compared to 34% changeup. Just 13% 2-seamer coming into play here tonight. 4-seam outside at 88 miles an hour. Both of those have topped out around 90. The 2-seam and the 4-seam, the changeup averaging around 80, and the slider at 77. Swing and a miss. 1 up and 1 down.
That looked like the change there, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. 28% swings and misses on that changeup. Let's check the defense behind Garrett Crissman here tonight. Brought to you by AAA of Michigan. It's TJ Riles in left. Joey Weimer in center, Smith in right, Troyer and Williams on the corners, Jillian Brandt up the middle, and Cameron Comer behind the plate here today, completing the battery. Aaron Takis, 1 for 6 start. No walks to 3 strikeouts thus far. 3 strikeouts, 1 for 6 start. 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 1 for This is a guy who produced and then some of the Pecos League. Fastball runs inside at 89. Fouled it out of play. Spin on nearly every pitch for Garrett Crissman. Tight spin for Ty Hensley on most pitches as well.
I think it's safe to say if Garrett Crissman was sitting at 90 on every pitch instead of 87, he'd probably be out of here pretty soon. You know, I think that's maybe the one thing he's lacking from his arsenal is a plus velocity fastball, but he's very polished, terrific mechanics, throws everything for strikes. There's a lot to like about him.
Here's the 0-2, lifted foul. Oh, and 2 on Aaron Takis. Dominic Bethencourt would be next. The third baseman here today. Takis playing right field for Jim Essien. 0-2, swing and a miss. 81 mile per hour changeup as he pulled the string there.
Nasty. He goes to that as an out pitch more than probably anyone else in the league. Maybe Don Goodson might be another guy who does it quite a bit, but changeup's not normally a strikeout pitch like that. It's usually a change of pace, something you try to get ground balls out of or miss some barrels with. But that's a swing and miss pitch for him.
His 74th strikeout of the year. Adding that one in Luska so far here tonight, just 15 walks. In terms of sample size, the best differential in the league.
He throws that change with the circle motion too. It's a circle change, which is a difficult one to control for most guys. It takes some getting used to. You have to get a real feel for the way the ball comes off of your pointer finger and your middle finger. I'm sorry, your middle finger and your ring finger, excuse me, which is not easy to get used to.
1-1 on Dominic Bethencourt. Garrett Crissman going right at these hitters here in the first inning. This is more pitcher's weather as well, cooling down and never easy to ramp it up at the plate. Popped it up. It's going to reach the outfield, short left center, and Joey Weimer able to sprint his way in to collect the third out. 1-2-3 breeze of an inning for Garrett Crissman here. Strikeout, and line out.
As we continue to respond to COVID-19 in our communities, Ascension Michigan is with you in this, and we are doing what matters to keep you safe in our care. At our hospitals and sites of care across the state, Ascension Michigan has additional safeguards in place. We are limiting visitors, ensuring proper social distancing in our waiting rooms, offering more online visits, and performing rigorous procedures to clean and disinfect. Our care teams are delivering babies and performing surgery. Now more than ever, it's important not to delay your health care. Schedule your appointments. Make sure children are getting their vaccinations. And if you have an emergency, don't wait. Go straight to your closest Ascension ER. Thank you for continuing to protect yourself and our community by washing your hands, wearing a face covering, and social distancing. Our doctors, nurses, and staff are ready for you when you need us. This is what we do best.
It's the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event going on now at Crest Lincoln. Schedule your remote experience today or visit us here and learn what it means to have vehicle ownership on your terms.
Find some peace this summer in the luxury of the 2020 Lincoln Nautilus. Lease today for only $359 per month. Or drive in comfort and style in the 2020 Lincoln Continental. Lease today for only $361 per month.
Make a summer memory today. Visit us at Crest Lincoln in Sterling Heights or shop now at crestlincoln.com.
There's Ty Hensley touring again here tonight. His 11th start as well, so both of these guys coming in with 10 starts here tonight.
Looks like the big boy got a haircut there.
Yeah.
Close shave.
Maybe trying to get rid of what he thought about in the last outing.
That could be.
He just, I asked him what he wanted to do better. He just says, I want to be better all the way around. To his standards, on the surface, 5 innings, 4 runs, 4 earned, 1 walk to 6 Ks. Doesn't look completely bad through 79 pitches, but you kind of set it off the air while we're just kind of preparing here before the game. you almost compare Ty Hensley to an uncomparable standard, the way he's been throwing this year.
You know, you're comparing him to like Pedro Martinez, 1999 or something like that. You know, so he lost a game. You know, his fastball was a little bit hittable. His curve wasn't commanded with the same regularity that it normally is, which makes his fastball a little more hittable. You know, you don't have to respect that other pitch quite as much, but you know, it happens. You're going to have some outings with lesser stuff. Overall, it was still really good. He gave his team a chance to win the ball game, I think, and, you know, turn the page.
And he's absolutely ready to fire this ball against Ron Williams Jr. He's jittering out there. First pitch for him is on the ground at 90 miles an hour. Blaze back out there at shorts. 1 up and 1 down.
I think RJ had a good plan there. I think, you know, Ty's a guy that tries to get ahead of you with the fastball, and he was looking for it. He didn't quite get it, but I think that was a good plan.
Check the defense behind Hensley here tonight, brought to you by AAA of Michigan. It's Frankie Leska in left, Colby Curry out in center, Aaron Takis again in right field. He's made some nice plays so far. Bethencourt and Strong in the corners. Hodo and Blazer double play combo, and Finney completing the battery here tonight. Strike one in on Freddie Geely. The one thing about that last start, the 1 walk, is a story because his last 5 starts, 15 walks in total. And that's kind of been his one red flag, or, you know, thing that you get to talk about negatively. I mean, when a guy performs so well, you often have to find things to...
Yeah, talking points.
Yeah, flaws, but I guess that's our business, huh?
Right.
Outside 2-1, there's 93. We did talk to Justin Orndorff before the game, and he said expect him to bring it like that early and often here tonight. Last start okay, but we're going to see a different Ty Hensley.
That was a change there at 86 down in the zone. He doesn't throw that a whole lot. A little bit against left-handers, which obviously Geely is. So.
And 86 is right where it's topped out this year. It's averaged 84. The fastball is average 91. Swing and a miss. A ground out and a strikeout, and these two pitchers on point here tonight.
We didn't jinx him yet, I guess.
No. Mike Sparling says, wow, close shave there, Ty.
Definitely. It looks like he took the bick to it.
Williams Nicole says, go Beavers here today. Sarah Klosterman says she loves the pinstripes.
I do too.
Classic look for the Beavers here tonight.
I think they have the best, in my just my opinion, obviously, but I think they have the best of the home uniforms. There's the deuce.
First one we've seen here today. It came in at 78.
Maybe a touch slower than normal.
Here's the 1-1. Big swing by Weimer as he lifts it foul. Entering play today at 180 in the average column. 6 runs scored. 10 walks to 15 strikeouts. So that's been the one caveat in a stretch where he struggled. He's hitless in his last 7 games, but he does have 6 walks in that stretch. In there for strike 3. Boy, there's no stopping these two arms here today. 2 strikeouts for each of them. Inverted as Christman was able to start to the first 2 batters. Strikeouts. Hensley with a 6-3 ground out to Ron Williams Jr. to begin the game here today. Time for Freaky Fast Trivia presented by Jimmy John's here today. What is the national animal of Scotland? Is it the Loch Ness Monster, the Scottish Terrier, the Black Bear, or the Unicorn?
I gotta believe it's the Loch Ness Monster. Nessie. A. Final answer.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
I don't.
It's like
I don't understand that.
Are you?
How do you pick how do you pick something fictional? I mean, I know Loch Ness Monster. You know, that's a little out there too, but I don't know. Why? Why the unicorn?
Oh my goodness, and I don't even have to type it in. What is the national animal of Scotland? The unicorn comes up. It fills in. Are they listening to us? Is this for real?
Is anyone watching from Scotland? Can you tell me the history on that
This
one?
is from NationalGeographic.com. Scottish are known for their adoration of myths and legends, ghosts, witches, magic, water monsters, and more fairy folk. The magical unicorn is perhaps their most beloved, particularly because it's the country's national animal. Gotta be kidding me.
Well, I thought it was weird enough that we make such a big deal out of the Wolverine in Michigan, and it's not like we've got a bunch of Wolverines going around Michigan. I thought that was odd enough, but at least Wolverines are real. I think it should be golden retrievers.
You know, the Wolverine is not the state's mascot, though.
It's not the state animal?
I believe it's the deal. Or the deer.
Really?
I got corrected on that not too long ago.
Let's Google that. State animal of Michigan. I think it's the Wolverine.
I thought, Dan, I was with you, but state animal of Michigan.
I know the deer is on the flag, or is it an elk on the flag? I forget.
Michigan state animal is the white-tailed deer.
Okay.
I think it was actually my wife who corrected me on that. I'm like, there's no way it's the Wolverine. No.
All right.
But
maybe that was just propaganda I heard growing up in Grosse Pointe because there's so many Michigan fans in Grosse Pointe.
Maybe I heard it at St. Clair Shores at St. Joan of Arc.
Yeah, exactly. It's just propaganda. Well, then that makes a lot more sense. The deer, there's a bunch of deer in Michigan.
The state bird is the robin.
Yep.
The state fish is the brook trout. There you go.
Okay.
State game animal, white-tailed deer. The state fossil is...
Petoskey?
No, the fossil.
That's probably the rock, the stone, right?
Mastodon.
Petoskey. Okay, I didn't know that one.
Why not the mammoth?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Let's work on that. Let's work on getting that changed.
State reptile, the painted turtle.
Is there a state beaver somewhere in one of these states?
I don't know. It's a good question. This one down the third base line in Troy, we're going to chase it as far as he can go.
Could it be Oregon?
Could be. State flower is an apple blossom. The state gem, Isle Royal greenstone. The state stone is Petoskey stone.
Okay. At least I got one.
The state tree, eastern white pine.
I would not have known that.
1-2 on Curry. Big swing and a fouled on the third base line. Have you ever heard the song My Michigan? That's the state song.
I don't think so. I don't think I know that one. I would have said it was the Victors, probably, judging by my answers so far.
Well, there you go. Everything you wanted to know and much more that you didn't. Here's Riles for the first out of the second inning, 4 up and 4 down against Garrett Crissman here tonight. And that's the state insect. Not really, but...
Well, how do we know it's not really? Did we look it up?
This one is, it's not on here, but I can try for you here. Let's see. I don't know if they do that. They probably do off all day. They list off all those things.
Everything.
You got to start naming these praying mantises now. We see them every day.
Is that the plural of praying mantis? Mantises? Manti?
You know, I don't think it actually is. It might be manti. That's the state bug of Connecticut. The praying mantis.
Really? Okay.
Michigan, where are you? Up high to Snyder, 2-1. Oh, this says Iowa and Michigan are the two states without a designated state insect. So we're going to name it right now. Let's
look at that. It's still open. We can put a bid in.
2-2 is lifted foul. Strikeout, strikeout, line out for Garrett Crissman so far here tonight. The changeup whittled foul, the slider, I beg your pardon.
Jim Messian shaking his head at something.
Jim Shaflin on Facebook says, when your favorite big league team is not playing, you watch these guys.
Well, I'm not sure who his favorite big league team is, but the one around here had a rough day so far.
But they did. Is it another double dip today?
It is.
Cardinals play about every game as a doubleheader, so.
They got beat up in the first one.
Good battle. Christman, despite the fact that he's retired every batter he's faced thus far, has thrown 28 pitches. Swing and a miss. He's doing things like that, though. 3 strikeouts to no walks thus far.
That was a sneaky, quick fastball right there. You know, speaking of Iowa not having a state insect, as we do, we need someone from Iowa to watch this broadcast.
We do. Name your insect and then watch the broadcast as well.
One of the few states we're still missing.
Chris Snyder, one of the public address announcers here at the USPBL of late, says, you all sound good. We appreciate that, Chris. Was that before or after we started talking about all these things? Here's the pitch to Strong. This one lifted foul down the third base line. Strong again playing first base here today for the Unicorns. We kind of identified him pregame as somebody who could make a difference going forward in this Unicorns lineup if he can bring that power. He's already had a double and a home run.
He's kind of your pick to click today, I feel.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Christman 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. He was a little flustered with the strike zone in the last contest. He thought he would have been able to get out of some innings a little quicker. And wow, that's nasty.
Change.
Some bottom bite to that change to get him out of the inning. He has 4 strikeouts in 6 tries thus far, and it's time for your DTE Energy Kid Race. The mascot here today, Lancelot, is going to face Cameron out there in the Mickey Mouse shirt out there. He's hopping and ready to go.
He looks excited. Does Lance get a head start here? If he was supposed to, he's not getting it.
Cameron said, no way.
Cameron looks to be chatting with him a little. Look, he cut him off. That boy, Cameron.
Smile there from Malik Blaze as he goes by.
Cameron did everything but hip check him there. And he's cutting corners. This Cameron uses his head more than his legs. Smart kid.
There you go, Cameron. Good job as he's able to stride his way home. Back with more after this on the USPBL Network.
DTE Energy customers can get their share of huge lifetime energy cost savings. How? By using our website. The Oslin's new programmable thermostat saved them a bundle. And their new efficient furnace earned them a hefty rebate. All over Michigan, people like the Oslins are saving. Why not you? There are always new ways to save at dteenergy.com/saveenergy. DTE Energy.
Ty Hensley snapping off the curveball in warm-ups here. He had a very efficient first inning, didn't he, Dan?
He sure did. He's, not really throwing his curveball much yet. Looks like he's mostly living off the fastball so far, trying to establish that early in the ball game. Nothing wrong with that. But we'll see how he evolves here as the game goes on. Probably going to mix in that cutter as he tends to do as he gets going. Pretty effective pitch for him that he doesn't throw a whole lot necessarily, but he does tend to get a lot of swing and miss on it when he brings it out.
5 starts with no hits, 7 with no runs this year for Ty Hensley. The 6'4", 245 righty out of Edmond, Oklahoma. Cam Comer, Sam Troyer, TJ Riles, your Zach Hart agency 3-men due up here in the second frame. Jeremy Idle alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring the call. We can encourage you to chime in on Facebook and YouTube here tonight on the chat section. That's about the only contact that Ty Hensley has had, and Garrett Crissman, I guess, for that matter here today. Light and foul for the most part.
I I think approach-wise, it makes some sense to go looking for a fastball on the first pitch. That seems to be his pattern usually. Change up to another lefty there. That looks to be the only time he uses it. Really relies more on the curveball with the right-handers.
Now just 9% with the changeup. Does get 17% swings and misses. 9% usage, that is.
That one, he just hung on to it too long. Sometimes you choke that changeup and it just doesn't flow out of your hand properly. That one he threw kind of straight into the ground.
Well, a new addition here today. We are on a third platform. You can follow the USPBL on Twitter at USPBL, and you can watch us there now as well.
Why not?
If you have a Periscope account, it's linked through that. It's kind of how Twitter integrates their live streams. I believe you can comment on that Periscope feed as well. Here's the 2-2. Lifted foul at 93. Second 93-mile-per-hour fastball we've seen so far here tonight. We were green-lighted on that we might see some more lofty fastballs earlier in this game for Ty Hensley. Averaging 91 on the year. There's the cheese, high and away at 92. See you later. Three straight strikeouts.
That's his game. You know, when he's going good, he'll climb the ladder a little bit with his fastball. He'll occasionally throw his changeup down in the zone to a left-hander, and then he'll throw that power curve, which we really haven't seen him get that going yet, but I'm sure he will as this game goes on.
The curve hasn't been as sharp lately as it was at points when he was really rolling.
True.
Popped it up.
Troyer taking that same approach that a couple others did, trying to hammer early at the fastball. But the thing is, they haven't really hammered it yet.
Is this sky tough to locate at this part of the day?
It looks like it to me. Of course, I'm not out there, but it's a little gray and hazy, sort of the color of a baseball.
Here's TJ Riles trying to break the string of 5 straight retired. It's been a little bit more efficient than Christman in terms of pitches. It's just 17 for Ty. But Christman has 4 strikeouts as well. So
right.
And some deeper counts. 2-2 and a 3-2 to Snyder and Luska combined.
Let's see if he goes change up here with the lefty again. Nope. Back-to-back fastballs.
Hensley looks a little bit more confident about his stuff here tonight.
Yeah, he's taking the ball, getting back up on the mound, and firing away.
And he said as much, you know, what's the difference between this year and all the other years in your career? Obviously, he's always had good stuff. He's had to reinvent himself a little bit in terms of how hard he throws, how often,
right.
His mechanics to no end heading into this year. But he says, hey, I'm having fun now.
Well, that's important. It's no different than you or I going to work. You know, if we don't have fun doing whatever work it is that we do, it's hard to perform well.
It's going to show. It'll eat you up, certainly, in the sports business.
Oh, yeah.
No matter where you are.
It's just too difficult if you're not having fun.
2-2 on TJ Riles. 163 in the average column. He's bumped down to the 6th hole here today, but what he has been doing better in the leadoff spot is drawing walks. 10 walks to 14 strikeouts now. That ratio was drastic before.
It's interesting to see him in the 6th spot here. I think we've exclusively seen him leading off, haven't we?
Maybe a game or two where he was taken out of that spot, but he was kind of put back up there by Vaughn Joshua and responding by walking more. 7 walks in his last 10. He had that stretch of 4 straight games where he had at least 1, and most of them were multiples. Swing and a miss, and Hensley now has himself 4 Ks. These 2 pitchers dazzling here tonight, locked in this push to the playoffs.
With us, you can expect something more. More guidance.
Do you trust me, Mom?
More dedication. More commitment. So you can celebrate today and be prepared for tomorrow. Insurance through AAA. Expect something more.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Reading program of the game, sponsored by CGC Water and Hungry Howie's. It's Huron Elementary and of the Chippewa Valley School District. Mr. Aladano, teacher spotlight here tonight. Reading program of the game, sponsored by Hungry Howie's and CGC Water.
Altadonna, maybe? You seemed unsure about that one.
That might be more
Altadonna?
correct. Apologize. But
who knows? We could both be off.
Garrett Crissman back on for his third inning of work here. He's made quick work of the first 6 in the order. Does have 33 pitches under his belt, so maybe you wouldn't mind a quick, 3-pitch strikeout and or first pitch pop-up type of variety as this outing goes on. But
part of it has to do with the hitters. As I mentioned, I think some guys, from the offensive standpoint, are trying to jump on Ty early in the count because he has that tendency to try to get ahead of you with the fastball. So that's producing some quick outs there.
It's John Hodo, Jordan Finney, and Malik Blazer. Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up. Hodo moving up in the order here tonight. We've seen him nearly exclusively hit 9 for Jim Essian. He is producing better, though. 281 in the average column. 3 walks, a double to his credit. Who knows? I mean, you said it, I think, a couple games ago when we were covering this team. If he continues to hit, he might just find himself in the leadoff hole.
Yeah, that wouldn't be crazy to think about.
Because Frankie Luska, not necessarily your typical leadoff batter.
No.
You could see him maybe striding down to a 2-hole if he maybe provides a little bit more pop as they know he can.
Right. Well, I think Takis has to start swinging the bat, too. It's been a limited sample size, but
got to hurry with a runner like Hodo, and they do.
Nice play.
Ron Williams Jr. delivering it over to Garrett Crissman. So 7 up and 7 down. Fellas, you can't record a no-hitter without your team getting some offense.
Right.
Both of them trying to do that here tonight in the early innings.
Well, these pitchers are sticking to the script pretty much. Not just by how well they're pitching, but kind of the way they go about it and the way they normally approach hitters.
89-mile-an-hour fastball is fouled back. Jordan Finney has picked it up at the plate. His last 10, he's got a 312 average compared to a 231 on the year. Three doubles in that stretch. Just 2 strikeouts. He has 8 on the year. Lays off the slider outside.
Interesting thing about Christman's slider is how hard it breaks downward. You don't really hear that described a lot with a slider, like a 12-6 slider.
That's something he's worked pretty hard at since arriving to the USPBL. Says it just improves each week. It becomes sharper. And more importantly for him, it looks like the fastball onto the arm. And that's
right.
The quote tunneling that pitchers work at all the time with every pitch.
Right, it doesn't come up out of his hand like a slower curveball often does.
Swing and a miss. And I mean, if you can perfect that with every pitch, that makes you ultra dangerous.
Yes. Well, you'll see sometimes on Twitter or other social media when a really good major league pitcher is going good, they'll show how they'll show all 3, 4, or 5 of his pitches at the same time in a graphic, and the way it comes out of his hand, and then how they start to break all different directions. And you can see how, as a hitter, man, how do you handle that?
5 strikeouts through 2 2/3 innings so far for Garrett Crissman. Malik Blaze, the bottom of the lineup here tonight. 145 average. He has drawn 8 walks compared to 11 strikeouts. It's really been just a glove that they don't want to take out of the lineup. There's a little bit more versatility now with Hodo added to the fold and some other infielders such as Jordan Hovey and the likes being added to the roster.
Normally when you have an aces matchup like this, you see a case of what they used to call a Ryanitis, where someone who's a normal starter ends up coming down with a hangnail or something like that because they don't want to face the ace starting pitcher. But not much chance for that in this league. The benches are pretty short.
3-1 popped him up. Troyer bolting in, leaving it for Comer, who is right there to make the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning for Garrett Crissman. The first 3 have been all like that, and 5 strikeouts to his credit thus far. Time for JJ the Waterboy, presented by Michigan First Credit Union here today. The water not needed as much as the first couple months of the season now for these umpires, but they'll take it.
Yeah, time for JJ the, what did we say, the barista at one time?
Yes, JJ the barista. JJ the Waterboy, presented by Michigan First Credit Union. Every game here on the USPBL Network. We say hello to Jack Donnelly watching on Facebook here today. Hope you're doing well, Jack. Another gross pointer for you, Dan.
All right. Oh, Jack Donnelly, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't hear you say it the first time. Absolutely.
So there's the Frisbee.
I suppose Jack Donnelly's your favorite kind of gross pointer in that he's a UAD Jesuit guy.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense.
Jack and I worked together for one summer. I interned at UAD after college.
Jack and I debate about which high school is actually called the High, because both Grosse Pointe South and UAD Jesuit claim that
really?
title.
I didn't know Grosse Pointe South has that too.
Because they started to... It was known as just the High in Grosse Pointe before Grosse Pointe North was built.
USPBL.com/shop is your place for anything gear here in the United Shore Professional Baseball League. I picked up a similar Hoppers hoodie yesterday. Looking forward to sport. I should have brought it today. Darn.
You should have. Oh, well, I don't know. Can you? Well, the Hoppers aren't playing today, so I think that'd be okay, yeah. Don't want to show favoritism, of course.
No.
But they're not playing today.
Eric, did Eric bring cookies for everybody? Or?
I don't think so. I guess he didn't learn his manners.
Eric McKean, our fine flight scope operator and analytics guru here in the press box with us, does a great job giving us all the information before the game. Those look pretty good. They smell pretty good, too.
You caught him doing some homework before the game today?
Yeah, he was doing some homework. He's going through his senior year at the University of Michigan. Got to check in every once in a while, make sure he's still doing it.
Don't suppose he gets his football tickets this year, huh?
I don't think so. This one in for strike 1 on Cesar Cuevas, the designated hitter here tonight. Cuevas, Smith, and Brandt, your Zach Hart agency men do up here in the 3rd inning. We should have snack time now that school's back in session, right? Yeah.
Right.
4th inning or so.
Like a Capri Sun and a granola bar? Like,
or maybe Nate can...
Orange slices?
Have us try something different every night.
Oh, that's true. We could do
Nate, if you're watching.
A little sponsorship with Nate.
You wouldn't mind, having a mid-game snack every once in a while. 1-2 on Caesar. 4 strikeouts thus far for Hensley. 6 up and 6 down. 9 up and 9 down for Garrett Crissman thus far. He has 5 Ks, 2, 2, and 1, according to the inning distribution so far. 2 and 2 for Ty Hensley.
And empty bullpens.
Wouldn't be surprised to see that for a while. Did he go?
No,
says the base pass umpire there.
Didn't look like it.
Jack says we are both the high.
He said, oh, both the high?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is he giving up on the argument, or?
To me, that's him giving up, yes. No, I'm okay with both. I kind of wish we still had our little football back and forth that we used to do.
Yeah, that was fun. It used to be week 1 of the regular season.
Yep.
Here's a 2-2, spoiled back.
We had that when I was still playing. We had that with Harper Woods Notre Dame at that time, late 90s. The school formerly known as Harper Woods Notre Dame.
It's crazy to see how many Catholic League schools have gone away or moved.
Yeah. On the east side, there's a ton.
Yeah.
If you talk to somebody my father's age, they could probably name 30. You get those guys going on east side Catholic schools, they could go for days talking about them.
Bishop Gallagher.
Oh, yeah.
Another good one.
Yep. Not Catholic, but my wife went to Lutheran East, which was in that same neighborhood as Harper Woods Notre Dame, and Regina moved from that neighborhood.
Tried to check his swing, just couldn't.
That's a nice curveball right there.
Nasty stuff. RPMs above the major league average, and he cracks a smile because of it. 28-36 on the spin right there, and he has 5 strikeouts, going toe-to-toe with Garrett Crissman here tonight. Jalen Smith still trying to get that average up. 188 coming into play here today. 13 runs scored. Fly ball to center. I think Curry lost it. Now he's trying to race in and trying to recover from his Malik Blaze. So now the question of what do you score that?
Well, no matter what it is, it's a disruption to what we had going so far. So you don't like to see it, but
everyone had literally been retired.
Yeah, that answers your question about the sky, I guess, because they both had trouble with that ball. Curry in center kind of put his hands up first, and that's the only reason Blaze even went for that ball.
The error ruled, so I guess it's got to be an E6 because Blaze touched it.
So Ty has no longer faced the minimum.
Unless he is able to get a double play here somehow.
Right.
That'd be impressive with the runner on second.
It certainly would.
Might need a Sherwood Brewing pickle or something like that. You know? Did you pick up your pickle pizza today?
I did not.
Half off pickle pizza. I think you got till 9. Anybody out there watching, if you're near the ballpark?
Well, at this pace, we had a chance to get there in time.
That's true. 1-1.
I keep meaning to get one because I feel like my one son and my wife would both like it. I've been meaning to get one. I may have to pay full price one of these days and just go.
Finney brings that one in for strike 2. Chris Snyder asked, how do you know RPMs? Chris, are you calling me dumb?
He can read them. He can look at the ball and see them. No, we're cheating. We have a machine.
I took that as how do you know what RPMs means, but maybe.
No, I thought my assumption was that he meant how can you tell how many times the ball spins in a minute.
That's the fine computer we have to our left. Two and 2 on Jonathan Brandt. Top of the order due up here. Ron Williams Jr. He's 0 for 1 with a ground ball. Laser to first. Strong. Glove down for out number 2 here in the third. Does advance Jalen Smith to third base. There he is. And Ron Williams Jr. will look to continue what's been a pretty good stretch for him lately. Last game 2 for 2. Good overall line. He had a double, a run, a stolen base, and a walk as well. Broke a 5-game hitless streak.
Swung first pitch fastball his last time up there. We'll see what he does here.
This one high to Ron.
Didn't get the chance there because he didn't get a fastball.
Been a little bit of a streaky hitter so far. Had that one really good stretch in August, though. One on Ron, been a very versatile piece. It's certainly helped out Von Joshua and the coaching staff of the Beavers this season. He's played some first, as he is tonight, some second base, some third base when needed.
You can tell when guys are thinking about an off-speed pitch against Ty, they just get started a little bit late to that fastball, and that one's not his most overpowering fastball, but it's a little bit elevated at 91, and if you're thinking about the off-speed for just a second, you're not going to catch up with it.
1-2, little excuse me swing that's lifted foul.
That one had a little more action on it than the previous.
It's a fine ball they use here at the USPBL. It's a good-looking one.
It is.
Hensley trying to get out of things here. Ooh, best fastball we've seen so far tonight, 94 and high. Jack also asked any local guys here. Definitely some. Freddie Geely, your Zach Hart agency man on deck is. He's from Brother Rice, Siena Heights University. Joey Weimer, Temperance Bedford, Cincinnati product. Spent 3 years there. Frankie Luska, Livonia guy, went to Madonna University. Goodson.
Catholic school too, didn't he? Luska? I'm trying to think which one it was.
He went to Madonna Catholic College, but he went to Stevenson, I believe.
Did he? Okay. I thought he was at a Catholic League school also.
Jack Ferguson, also a Livonia product. I think I'm missing any others. On these two teams, that is. There's others in the league. Ross Haffey on the Mammoths, out of Brother Rice as well.
Nate Grice, Bishop Foley. Did you say Clenny?
I did not. That's
Nolan Clenny from Catholic Central.
Popped him up. Bethencourt ranging, and runs out of real estate down the third base line.
Jordan Finney, did you get that one?
Nope.
Cranbrook?
I missed. And there's a few more local affiliated guys. Jake Hoover, another one of them, playing in the Texas organization on the Diamond Hoppers, the starting shortstop, because of the situation with no minor league baseball.
Xavier Warren, West Bloomfield.
All playing key roles potentially to these teams' championship aspirations here this year. Runner on third base, 2 outs. This is some of the best battles we've seen against Ty Hensley. Pitch count up to 45 now. Full count delivery again. Continues to spoil it that direction. And Bethencourt and Finney just getting the sprints in foul territory here, the elongated foul territory.
Well, no matter how this at-bat comes out, R.J. Williams doing a job for his team here, helping to elevate that pitch count a little bit of Hensley's. Maybe give him a better chance to get into that bullpen a little bit. Not that it gets much easier with the Unicorns bullpen.
Christman, 47 pitches through 3 innings. Line drive to center. Curry won't get it. There's the first hit of the ball game and the first run. Great at bat by Ron Williams Jr. And
it was.
Drives in his 10th RBI of the year as well.
That's a very important base hit right there. We might be talking about that one when this game is over. And what really contributed to that, of course, was the error. The one in center field charged to Malik Blaze, but really it was a result of Coley Curry not seeing the ball off the hitter's bat.
It's another unearned run given up by Ty Hensley. here tonight. Came into play with just 7 earned runs. 11 in total now. Slicing flying ball will find the glove of the aforementioned Madonna Crusader. Luska ends the inning for Ty Hensley here. Gets another strikeout. And the error with 1 out, driven around by Ron Williams Jr. off the great AB here tonight. Back with more after this. Stick with us.
The difference that we bring to pediatric care isn't just the fact that we care deeply about our patients and want to partner with their parents in delivering the best care for their children, because a lot of pediatricians can deliver great care. What we do differently at Campground Pediatrics is we offer a different environment to deliver that care, and we offer personal service in a way that many practices can't.
Senior Spotlight presented by Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union. It's Zachary Paulsgrove of Farmington High School, a Falcon. He graduated with a 3.5 GPA, led it in basketball and football. Be attending Oakland Community College this fall.
So Harrison is gone, right? Farmington Hills Harrison?
Believe so, yeah. This should be the first year.
That's hard to picture. For a football fan, anyway.
Isn't it?
So, does everybody there go to Farmington High School now? Is that the idea?
That I don't know. The logistics of all that, I would guess. Actually, this is the second year without Harrison, because 2018 was their last football year. They lost in the regional final to Chelsea 21-14. That's a historic program. 441 wins and 112 losses since 1970. That's as far as they go back in a pretty good site, michiganfootball.com. If you haven't seen that, check it out. There's a lot of history out there on that one.
I believe they have basketball playoff records on that website somewhere, too.
Yep, they do.
Another nasty changeup right there.
The last state championship coming for Harrison in 2010 with a defeat of Lowell, but they had some streaks of just getting there year after year. Luska looks at ball 2 outside, 2-1 on Frankie here. 5 Ks for Garrett Crissman thus far. Now working with a 1-0 lead. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, imagine that, a 1-0 lead.
Easy play for the hero so far here tonight. Ron Williams Jr. has driven in the game's only run off a really good AB with 2 outs.
I like how he went down to a knee there as a first baseman. I don't mind that. You may as well just do whatever you can to keep that ball in front of you. You got plenty of time to get over to the bag. Just make sure it doesn't get by you.
Last outing for Christman against the Woolly Mammoths. That was back on Friday. He went 5 2/3, gave up 6 hits, 2 runs. Both of them earned 4 walks to 8 strikeouts through 118 pitches, his most of the season, kind of by far, by 15 or so pitches. He's been very efficient. You know, when him and A.J. Coleman have their best starts, they're throwing 7 innings and nearly only 100 pitches overall.
A little bit of a separate topic, but I started to say a little bit earlier, I think Aaron Takis kind of needs to get the bat going for the Unicorns if he's going to stay in this 2 spot. We haven't seen him a whole lot yet. He just got here. You know, not a lot of sample size yet, but, you know, I haven't really seen the bat. We have seen him play good defense in right field, though.
Pat Torres answered your question. I forgot about North Farmington. So the Harrison students were split between North Farmington and Farmington.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about North Farmington also.
2 teams which last year I feel like had very good years. Not sure they made it too far in the...
Well, if they're absorbing kids that used to go to Harrison, I would expect them to be pretty strong going forward.
I feel like they were both undefeated going into that matchup versus each other last year.
Yeah, that does ring a bell now that you mention it. Did the Harris? I think that they were talking about how that produced quite a rivalry, if I recall, because the Harrison kids were kind of divided up and sort of pitted against each other.
Odd situation, isn't it?
Yes, it sure is. Oh, I think everybody in the park thought that was a strikeout.
It's the first base runner for Garrett Crissman here tonight. Difference between the first walk and the 6th strikeout. How could I have forgotten, Dan?
About?
North Farmington lost to my Cubs last year.
Oh, they did?
34-21 in the first game.
Okay.
Of the pre-district. They were undefeated, though, coming into the matchup.
Interesting.
Pretty embarrassed because I think I might have called that game. They all mix together sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine. Although the football playoff games should be top of the list, right? You should remember those.
Sure, yeah.
Especially for your school, right?
This one in for strike 2 on Dominic Bethencourt. Here's the 0-2, spoil away. Coley Curry is Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the 4th inning. It's been like clockwork for Garrett Crissman here tonight. You never know, though, how the rhythm of a pitcher can be disrupted by a walk like that where he thought maybe it could have been a strike.
Right.
Ready and ready matchup here, the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Another nice wiffle ball changeup, sparking to the inside part of the plate.
Well, he'd love to get himself an out here and get out of this inning with just the 1 base runner and stay really efficient through 4. Take a look at maybe Taka's trying to swipe a bag here. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Runs are obviously going to be at a premium. You're going to have to force the issue at some point. Comer's no slouch behind the plate, of course.
Curry, a good trap play by Troyer, feeds to second in time, and that is it for Garrett Crissman. So he answers the ball quite nicely. These two pitchers dueling closely. The winner so far, Garrett Crissman.
Hi, I am Allison with the Sports Performance Tip of the Game, brought to you by DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. You don't need an expensive gym membership or equipment to stay fit. During the coronavirus, we have all found creative ways to stay in shape. There are many things you can find or even use around your home. For example, you can fill up a backpack with books and wear it on your back for resisted squats. You want to stand with your feet shoulder width apart, just wider than shoulder width apart. Sit back with your hips, keep the chest high, and repeat this for 2 sets of 10. An exercise like this one that uses your own body weight is one of the simplest ways you can work out at home.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Catch the Chevy Malibu at your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Lease a 2020 Malibu 1LT for just $288 a month for 24 months. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
And we have a Ty Hensley card from last year here in the press box, and Dan flipped it over and kind of pointed out the numbers. And I know this is something we talked about before, but the numbers this year are night and day in terms of last year. That's not to say that he didn't necessarily have a horrible year or anything. I mean, they thought he made a lot of strides. Number one, they wanted to see him throw a full season with no injuries.
And just be healthy, have a healthy year.
2019, though, for Hensley, 12 starts, 48 innings, 1-4 in the win-loss. 43 hits given up, 34 walks to 54 strikeouts, and a 6.66 ERA. He marched into tonight with a 1.21 ERA, and without the 4 runs given up on the third, that would be well below 1. That's where he's been all season.
Oh. You need a tennis racket to hit that.
Still might not be able to. 0-2 on Joey Weimer. 77-mile-an-hour bender. Another one. Flip-flopped on the ground to Bethencourt. Over to first. Airmail. That's going to be at least to second base for Weimer.
Yeah, it went in the dugout.
Hops in the dugout.
Yep. Yikes. Ty being undone by his defense a little bit in this game, unfortunately.
A hit given up and 2 errors.
I think Dominic really felt like he needed to hurry a little bit there. Weimer gets down the line pretty fast and just didn't finish that throw. It sailed on him a little. He's got a good arm.
Cameron Comer 0 for 1. He's one of those strikeouts tonight. 1 of 5. 2 back in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third inning of play. Changeup there. By him for strike 1. I don't often see a first pitch changeup from Ty Hensley. I don't believe we've seen the cutter tonight either. Doesn't throw it very often, just 7.5%. Heavy on the fastball, as you'd expect, 62%. This is going to allow Weimer to advance, and now runner on third base with no outs. Jalen Smith, the only run scored back in the third inning, driven in by the single by Ron Williams Jr. on the 2-2 count. That's the difference in this game. Pitch count at 53 for Hensley. Still no action in either pen thus far. There's a look at the line score. Still one big fat goose egg in the column that matters for Garrett Crissman. He's given up just 1 walk so far. 1-2 on Comer. Hodo has a good beat for out number 1.
I don't know if there was an out there already, if that wasn't a no out situation, I'd think about tagging and going home on there if I were Weimer. Challenging Hodo with his arm. He's going back on that ball. Runs are going to be at a premium in this game, and as well as Weimer runs, I think you could challenge him there and take off.
Or at least bluff to get him to throw and see what happens.
Yeah. He may fall down. You
get
never
halfway down the line and then curveball there. Maybe not as good as the first one he threw in this inning, but in for a ball, 1-0. This is the kind of curveball we've been looking for lately out of Ty Hensley. The infield playing in on Sam Troyer. Pumps the fastball at 91. Swung through it. Troyer 256 in the average column. He had a hot start after coming off the injured list. But after that, it's settled down a little bit, and that's a big-time strikeout by Ty Hensley on the 78-mile-an-hour bender.
Very important strikeout with a man on third and 1 out, but just a really impressive pitch too. Nasty break and very well placed. Started in the strike zone and dove down and away from Troyer. Just a very tough pitch.
1-0 on TJ Riles, the left fielder here tonight. Strikeout back in the second inning of play. Changeup. Swerving away there. Joey Weimer, the lead runner and only runner on third base. He was there to start the inning.
He's got to look to try and score on a ball that might scoot away from Finney a little bit. You know, all those curves in the dirt. There's always a chance that one could get away, even if it doesn't go all the way back to the screen. It might be just a tough ball to corral.
We were dancing pretty far down the line. Also at times can draw some attention away.
Sure, get a buck maybe. Some guys with 2-out situations like this will fake like they're stealing home or just do something drastic over there to try to get a balk called. And he's got that type of speed.
64th pitch on the ground. Hodo sliding, gets up, throws to Hensley, got him!
That's a beauty.
Nice job by Ty to get over there as well. He's able to strand the leadoff error by recording the next three he faces. Big time pitching by the ace here tonight.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
We joined GreenPath and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing GreenPath is a no-brainer.
Giving you so much more. Hollywood Supermarkets, your neighborhood grocery store. Hollywood Supermarkets. Giving you so much more. Hollywood Supermarkets, your neighborhood grocery store.
This is a university unlike any other university. You will find out a lot about yourself and your career that you're going into. It's prepping me for the real world experiences that I will encounter once I do graduate.
With its many leadership programs and classes that integrate service learning into its curriculum, acts as not only a resume builder, but a character builder. And I couldn't put a price tag on it, and it will be invaluable to my career.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Nick Snyder leading off the fifth inning here for the Utica Unicorns, trying to get their ace a run at least here. Popped it up down the first baseline. Williams Jr. No, man, nearly stretching out and making that catch in front of JJ's doghouse down there. 0-2 on Nick Snyder. Ron Williams Jr. is the difference in this game right now. 1-0 lead in favor of the Beavers because of his single.
An unearned run, we should note.
Just the 11th given up in total all year long for Hensley. Fly ball to right. Smith started over, now going farther, dives and makes the catch in foul territory down the right field line. That's a big play.
Pretty good play considering he doesn't play a ton of outfield really all the time. He's also, mixed into the infield quite a bit this year.
It takes big plays like that to have a historic day. Garrett Crissman with virtually no breeze here tonight. It's what pitchers love to see unless it's blowing in, right?
Right, oh yeah.
And it doesn't often blow in here at Jimmy John's Field. I'm sure the trees in front of the Clinton River kind of all throughout the backdrop in the outfield have a lot to do with that.
Well, here's your guy at the plate. This is the guy you expected to come through.
Seth Strong 0 for 1 today, a strikeout. He was part of a 1-2-3 inning. He hit 3 in a row to start this game before the one-out walk in the 4th inning. He responded with a strikeout and a ground out right after that. 1-1 on Strong, the first baseman. Inning brought to you by Ascension. I thank all our fine partners for what they do here for the USPBL Network. Expanding even further, so on Facebook, on YouTube, and now live on Twitter as well. The 2-1, low and away. Talked about Garrett Crissman's walk to strikeout ratio, ever improving upon that as this season has gone on. 4 walks is about as high you'll see him do, and that was last outing, and he uncorks a close pitch there, which does go for his second free pass of the night.
Neither one of them were missed by much. Tried to throw to a spot and just missed by a little bit each time.
John Hodo, second baseman here tonight, sent a close ball down the first base line, kind of between the first and the second baseman, Ron Williams Jr. and Freddie Geely. It was Williams Jr. who stretched over and fed the covering pitcher Garrett Crissman to record a close out with the speedy base runner going down the line. Boy, did you see that lead? Secondarily there by Seth Strong, and it nearly cost him over at first base. Comer says, not so fast, young man.
You got lucky there. He wasn't going anywhere, so he better not get picked.
1-1 on John Hodo. Chopper down the third base line, just sneaking its way foul as Troyer trying to coax it fair. To his benefit, not quite sure.
Yeah, that would have been a tough play. I'm not sure.
One and 2 on John Hodo. Christman would love to double him up here. It'll be a tough effort, though, as this is a dribbler to the left side. Troyer cuts it off and smartly plays to first for the second out.
Yeah, he did a nice job there just to get the one out. Definitely not hit hard enough to get 2, and I don't think he would have got the lead runner either.
There's some movement in the Unicorns pen. That's about as much as you can call it, though. Just some guys going through the motions down there and maybe getting the arms loose.
I think Ty definitely goes 5 today for sure. You know, we don't have a historic situation, so to speak, going on with him anymore, so I don't know that he goes past that, especially with the good Unicorns pen.
Just 2 walks surrendered so far tonight by Garrett Crissman, the second here in the 5th, and the first back in the 4th. Takis and Seth Strong delivering those. It's the first walk of the USPBL career for Seth Strong. Here's the 1-1 in there for strike 2.
It's amazing how many called strikes he gets on that slider. I think hitters just see it as up in the zone and they don't recognize what it is.
37% between called strikes and swings and misses. There's a swing and a miss, and trying to complete it is Cameron Comer. He does just that. Garrett Crissman marching through this game quite efficiently, just giving up 2 walks thus far.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Kid of the Game brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. It's Hadley Bowman today. Goes to Beacon Tree Elementary, age 8, and her favorite activity is dancing. Kid of the Game brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Every game here on the USPBL network. Ty Hensley going back for his 5th inning of work. Couple errors, that's about it, and a single by Ron Williams Jr.
Yeah, his defense has been a touch sloppy behind him, but obviously a really good outing so far. He's going to have to be close to perfect today with his counterpart going as good as he is, but I think Ty's doing what he intended to out there today.
Chelsea Estes chiming in on Facebook says the 2 goats on the mound and the mic. Wow. It's high praise. I agree on the guys on the mound. We're just up here talking.
So she said 2 goats, so obviously the one on the mound is Ty, the one on the mic being you, so she's not talking about me at all, I don't think.
No, I think she's talking about Christman and Hensley.
Oh, all right. Christman and Hensley are the 2 goats.
But maybe us too.
But who's, okay. Well, she mentions the mic, I don't know.
Brady Singer with a no-hitter through 7 for Kansas City tonight.
So 4 total goats she's getting at.
I guess,
okay.
Yes.
All right.
Goats everywhere.
I appreciate Chelsea thinking of us.
Cubs don't want to see goats, though, do they?
No, they don't.
Popped up down the third base line, Bethencourt. And Finney.
Oh.
Finney makes that catch.
That's a tough play going away.
The inner catcher of Dan Griesbaum Jr. with a big fist pump there.
Absolutely. That's a third baseman's ball in my mind.
1 up and 1 down here for Ty Hensley.
Jalen Smith having what can be considered a nice day, really.
Sure.
With the E6 is as important of a play as we've had offensively so far, and then made the nice catch in right field.
We've seen some solid catches lately, haven't we?
We have.
Ooh, there's the bender. Strike 1 on Jalen Smith. Lollipop curveball in on the left fielder here tonight for Von Joshua's team. Jeremy Idle alongside Dan Griesbaum Jr. to bring the call here tonight. PJ Krutowski, your director. Jeremiah Hergott, our graphics operator and producer here tonight. Waiting in the 2-1. Here it comes.
Get a piece? Just a little bit.
Just subtly. In and out of the glove of Jordan Finney. Interesting to see who takes his catching job going forward.
94
for this Unicorn squad as Finney catches that strikeout. We've seen him catch Ty Hensley lately. Colton Horner also brought in as a bat and a catcher to the league recently as well.
He seems to be a good one defensively. Looks like one of the stronger receivers in the league for sure. I think he's generally speaking the starting catcher, but it looks like Finney and Ty have a good thing going.
1-0 on Jonathan Brandt. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out to the first baseman Strong. So a reminder, as of today, we're also now streaming on Twitter. So Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Spot to find the USPBL network. Be sure to follow the league on Twitter at USPBL as well. Ty Hensley today has 2 1-2-3 innings. That was back in the first and second. Third was the run scored, and the fourth saw the leadoff error to Dominic Bethencourt until Hensley said, no, I'm going to take this in my own hands. Pop out, strikeout, ground out to get out of it unscathed. Strands that runner on third base, Joey Weimer. Was granted second base after the wild throw by Bethencourt flipped into the dugout and quickly moved his way up to third. 75 pitches now for Ty Hensley.
Oh.
In there for strike 3. See you later on the bender again.
So nasty. 3-2 pitch.
Back with more after this. Christman and Hensley going toe-to-toe here tonight.
When you need emergency care, you want your hospital to be ready for whatever comes through the door. Ready for any injury and any illness. Ready to respond at the speed of emergencies. That's why McLaren Macomb built a new emergency department. With advanced technology, clinical expertise, and 68 private exam rooms, we're Macomb County's largest emergency department, and we're ready for you whenever you need us. That's emergency care at McLaren Macomb. That's doing what's best.
A great day for me is when the family heads to the local farm stand in our Chevy Traverse. We can enjoy a comfortable, scenic trip in its spacious interior and stay connected with available 4G LTE Wi-Fi. Add in the available hands-free liftgate and class-leading cargo space, and Traverse fits my life and everything that comes with it.
Lease a 2020 Traverse LT for just $279 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
At midnight, when the ATM cruelly devours your card. At 6 a.m., when your credit goes down the drain. Or at 10 p.m., when you realize your credit card went on vacation without you. Michigan First is here. With our 24-hour call center, online banking with live chat, mobile banking, and branches near you. Michigan First, you have our attention 24/7.
Back here in the 6th inning as Garrett Crissman will face 9-1-2, brought to you by Zach Card Agency. It's Malik Blaze, Frankie Luska, and Aaron Takis. Garrett Crissman today, nearly perfect. 2 walks. That's it. 1 against Seth Strong in the 5th, 1 against Aaron Takis. So back-to-back innings with a walk. He's 80 pitches deep. There is no action in the bullpen. You got to think if he is able to efficiently get through these next 2 innings, he could go complete game and maybe another historical feat here in the USPBL this year.
Yep. Don't turn the channel. Is that an old phrase now? Don't turn the channel?
Don't press that dial.
Yeah. Don't swipe.
Don't hit the X button. Hit the like button. Wow.
Subscribe.
0-2 is outside. 1-2 on the shortstop here for the Unicorns. Steve Butler on Facebook asked, nice, how long has the USPBL been in existence? This is year number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Going on pretty strong right now.
Year 1 of the USPBL network, though.
Yes. We're glad to bring the call each and every game. Outside 2-2 on Blaze.
We were talking today about how this is game number 60 of the season and how it's flown by. It sure doesn't feel like 60 yet.
It does not. But when you're playing 5-6 games in a week,
yep.
I guess that happens, right? Soft line out there to Ron Williams Jr. We want to say hello to Isalda Castillo here today. Good friend of Miguel Cirino. Lives in Arizona. It's her birthday here today, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Miguel says hello. Frankie Luska. Top of the lineup, 0 for 2 tonight against Garrett Crissman. Most of the contact has been pretty soft when they've gotten a piece. Strike 2 delivered on the changeup there. Maybe not as many changeups as we're used to seeing in a Garrett Crissman.
Yeah, it seems like he's using the slider maybe a little bit more of an even distribution of those pitches, or at least closer to even than they would typically be.
Christman wasn't completely happy with his changeup last game. Just didn't have the feel for it. Said he's not changing necessarily anything here today, just trying to get that right grip and release points. And let the good grip overall do its work. What it's done really all throughout his career. Here's the 1-2 on Luska. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout racked in the book here for Garrett Crissman. He is 4 outs away from some more USPBL history here tonight. 8 strikeouts for Garrett. Matches his total from last game. Probably his best outing to this point. All the way back on July 25th against the Mammoths. 7 innings. 2 hits, 1 walk, 11 Ks, and just 84 pitches. Boy, I just look at that every time, and I'm like, 84 pitches and 11 strikeouts.
It's hard to figure.
He's already passed that here in the 6th, but still equally as dominant. I mean, these hitters have maybe battled a little bit more than he saw in that game versus the Mammoths, and you also have to factor in maybe how the bats were at that point in the league.
Sure.
Just breaking in just a couple weeks really deep into the season.
I think it's harder to have a dominant outing now than it was back in July, certainly. Hitters, not only are they coming along as the season goes along, but the hitting's also been upgraded. You know, some guys have come in from affiliated ball, some guys have come in from the Pecos League. You know, I think there's better hitters overall right now.
3-2 on Aaron Takis. He had one of the 2 walks back in the 3rd. Jam job foul.
Yeah, the offensive stars so far for the Unicorns today. Takis and Seth Strong, yeah, with the 2 walks.
Swing and a miss. Nasty 81-mile-an-hour changeup, and that man is 3 outs away from a really, really good game. Wink, wink. Stick with us here on the USPBL Network.
Looking for a great rate on a new vehicle? Introducing our credit union's Drive promotion with rates as low as 1.89% and no payments for 90 days. Or refinance and save on your current auto loan with our 1% lower guarantee. You can now get pre-approved and close a loan remotely with our convenient online application process. Stop in today or visit ourcuonline.org/drive to drive away happy.
Upcoming games presented by Motor City Casino Hotel. One tomorrow, then the doubleheader on Saturday. Tomorrow it's the Unicorns and the Mammoths. Double dips the rest of the way this week and next week between the Beavers and the Hoppers. And Sunday, the Mammoths and the Unicorns do battle. Dominic Bethencourt, Coley Curry, and Nick Snyder will face Garrett Crissman the next half inning, brought to you by Zach Hart Agency. Still has not given up a knock. 2 walks surrendered so far by Garrett Crissman. Ty Hensley has been right there with him. 2 errors and a single. The unfortunate part of him is that the single plated the run. Jalen Smith came around to score in the third. Ron Williams Jr., Freddie Geely, Joey Weimer, the top of the order due up here against Ty Hensley.
You mean the hitting star of the ball game?
Yes, the hitting star of the ball game. There is some stretching going on in the Beavers pen.
Well, hopefully that's not needed.
98 pitches thrown by Christman so far. Christman coming into play. 10 starts, 57 innings. 10 starts as well for Ty Hensley, 52 innings. Jake Johnson says, let's go T on Facebook. Heidi Schmidt says, great game so far. It sure is. Old-fashioned pitcher's duel here tonight.
Yeah, don't blink or you might miss this one.
It's 8:31, folks. 8:31 p.m. Eastern. High at 91, 3-1 on Ron Williams Jr. You wouldn't think the pitch count's the issue for Christman because he threw 118 last outing.
Right.
6 days rest.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a few guys lately go on 4 days rest. Here's the 3-2. Whittled fouled on the first base line.
Got a situation here where Ty could conceivably complete this game himself with a one-hitter and be overshadowed by the guy he went up against, which is incredible. They just challenged each other tonight, it looks like.
Which, like you mentioned pregame, is not always the case for two aces kind of battling against each other. Weak contact again. Bethencourt. Nice sliding play to get over to that one for out number 1 here in the 6th inning. Quietly, Hensley has now retired 7 straight going back to the 4th, and after that leadoff error in that inning.
Of course, standings not at the forefront of our mind right now, but this potentially could be a very big victory for the Beavers as far as the standings go.
Sure could. Entering tonight tied with the Unicorns at 6 points, but nobody wants to be tied with the Unicorns at the end of the year no matter how good your playoff push is, because they're going to win that tiebreaker.
Right.
Because they have won the regular season, they will win any tiebreaker, and then between the Beavers and the Hoppers, whoever wins 2 out of 3 of the doubleheaders will win the tiebreaker between those teams. If by chance the Mammoths are tied with somebody, it will go to runs scored.
And just getting to that 2 seed could really be huge for the Beavers because they really have 2 main starters generally. You know, Christman, of course, and then A.J. Coleman. So to have to play 3 games would really strain that pitching staff.
I think you'd just see him go bullpen day in the championship game. As funny as that sounds, that's probably their best opportunity to win.
Definitely.
And we've seen teams win efficiently in that direction. So is this Unicorns team. The Hoppers last night, Nick Leo, an opener of sorts. 3 innings, maybe a little bit more than, you know, that's kind of the edge maybe of what you classify as an opener type start.
Right.
I mean, the Rays coined that with 1 inning.
I don't think they were planning. I don't think they were really planning on him necessarily going through, but he just looked good.
Cheely set down. 8 Ks. Now for Ty Hensley here tonight, giving up just the hits.
You know, I'd go as far to say that Ty Hensley having a great outing really helps Garrett Crissman too, because it keeps this game moving along and he gets adequate rest, but he doesn't have to sit around.
Joey Weimer reached on that aforementioned error back in the 4th inning. Here's the 1-0.
I think you can say his speed probably contributed to that error a little bit too. Probably caused Dom Bethencourt to hurry his throw a little bit. Looks like Jared Price down there in the pen. Is that who that was?
It was.
Only got a real quick look at him there.
He's not hurrying by any means,
no.
So
I think he's got plenty of time to really get loose if he's needed. He's probably going to know, you know, as the inning develops.
2-0, big, hefty swing and a miss by Joey Weimer. Strikeout back in the 1st inning, his 2nd for Hensley, that is. Struck out the last 2 men he faced. Both of these 2 teams have battled in their share of at-bats here tonight. Labored through some 1, 2, 3 innings, as much as you can say that, I guess. 3-2 here on Joey Weimer. But regardless, Dan, a great bounce-back start for Ty Hensley here tonight.
That's for sure.
Straightens up Weimer here as he draws the free pass, his 11th of the year, and his 7th in his last 8 games. Cameron Comer's been hot. He came into the game 6 for his last 12. Pair of RBIs, a couple doubles, 2 walks to 2 strikeouts. Hitting .300 in his last 10, and now before today, it might be right around .300 or just below. He entered at .312. Lately, he's either been .280 or .310, .320, it seems like. He just has those few swings in the games in terms of his production.
You can get him a little bit on the fastball up, which is what Ty has done today. He's a better low ball hitter.
Another good curveball. Trying to empty the tank here in the 6th inning. Unless his team comes back and ties it, this could be it.
You know, keep in mind in a game like this, despite the historical nature of what's going on with Christman, it's a 1-0 game, so you could see something like a bunt for a hit without it, you know, being deemed disrespectful or inappropriate. You know, it's a 1-run game. You got to do what you can to get on.
Oh, tripping, but staying with it on the ground is strong.
What an unusual play.
My goodness. Able to get out of things here in the 6th inning and keeps this game right where it is. 1-0. There's the scoreboard, which is going to be ever so important in just a few minutes when Garrett Crissman comes back out.
Those Motor City wheels are messing around.
Holy Hot Rods, it's race time. Chevy Detroit wheels. Start your engines.
Bel Air comes out first. It's a 5-car race here today.
Full boat. How
They're
about
back
that?
out. They're out of the shop. They're out of the...
I'm going to go Shelley Chevelle. PD won yesterday. He usually doesn't rattle off 2 in a row.
Garrett Crissman is just popping out of the dugout here, so he waited just a little bit as those cars unfolded.
Probably had to wait for Comer anyway.
That's true. Comer hitting in that last inning, and the finish is a little bit tighter than what we've seen lately, Dan.
Is that Camaro that finished out front?
Camaro.
And this is the guy. Having a day.
Garrett Crissman. Single walks in the 4th and the 5th innings.
You know, neither one of those walks were easy ones, so to speak, for the hitters. They were taking some close pitches, and he was right in the neighborhood. Both left-handers, which is interesting.
So here we go. Dominic Bethencourt, Coley Curry, and Nick Snyder. Your Zach Hart agency 3-man due up here.
He'll have to go right through the meat of the order, that's for sure.
Bethencourt today 0 for 2. As is everybody else in the middle of the order. Not a surprise, right?
I think if somebody gets him, it's going to be Curry. That's my prediction, if somebody gets him.
Nine strikeouts delivered thus far by Garrett Crissman. He got one on Aaron Takis to end the 6th. That slider flutters outside. Back-to-back sliders from Garrett here tonight. Waiting in the 2-0. Outside at 88. 3-0 on Dominic Bethencourt. Jared Price is still warming in case he's needed here in the 7th. 101 pitches deep in this outing. Nipped the zone for strike 1.
Certainly a good 3-0 take there by Bethencourt. Not a good hitter's pitch by any means.
The 3-1. On the ground to the shortstop. Brandt backing up, fires to first base, skipping in, and Williams Jr. can't make the play over at first base.
And the pressure is on the official scorer at this point.
We've already seen one error ruled on a close play to Ty Hensley.
I think you could call that a throwing error.
I did.
Okay. It's a tough error. Certainly not an easy play by any means for Brandt, but he did get to the ball, and a good throw would have had him. But that's a tough throw. It's definitely a tough throw.
Coley Curry, the second man up here. 81-mile-per-hour changeup slides outside. He'd love a double play, wouldn't he?
Mm-hmm.
From a pitch count perspective and just where he is in this game, everything on the line. Here's a 1-0 on Curry. Lifted to left. Riles got it. Oh, boy.
I didn't think it was going to hang up that long.
Me neither. Off the bat, I thought it might sink down.
Didn't have as much topspin on it as I thought it did.
This is one of the more dangerous hitters in this lineup, certainly. Nick Snyder, 0 for 2 here tonight with a strikeout and a flyout.
I don't think it's out of the question for Bethencourt to try to steal a base here either. Keep in mind he is the tying run over there.
Snyder's hit a ball 106 miles an hour this year. His average exit velocity 87 off the bat. 1-0 on Snyder. There's Bethencourt. The pitch sawed off into right field, and there is the first base hit against Garrett Crissman tonight.
Well, certainly shouldn't take away from Christman's outing. He has just been outstanding. You know, truly a pleasure to watch. Looks like he's going to get replaced here, hopefully to a standing ovation for the few fans that are in the ballpark. But terrific mechanics, terrific three-pitch mix, has command of everything, has a great idea of what he's trying to accomplish on the mound, and just an overall pleasure to watch. And his bullpen will try to get this one for him.
Von Joshua hopped right out of the dugout. Get a big pat on the back here from his manager as he delivered quite the game in a game that they need, but now potentially on the line with runners on first and second, and the closer, Garrett Price, will come on with one out here in the 7th inning.
Lost in all that hubbub is the fact that an extra base hitter here could lose the lead for the Beavers.
So Hoffman Dental pitching change, back with Price's numbers when we get back here in the USPBL Network.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Garrett Price, Hoffman Dental pitching change here in the 7th inning. No hitter by Garrett Crissman, broken up with one out here in the 7th inning. Wouldn't that have been something? Ty Hensley has been a part of, what, 2 combined no-hitters and a no-hitter himself this season.
Right.
He was nearly on the wrong side of things. Do we see him come out for another inning? I wouldn't think so, but we'll see.
I'll be honest, with all the hubbub on the Beaver side, I hadn't really taken a close look at the Unicorns bullpen, but it looks like there's a little throwing down there right now. That'll be interesting.
We heard a rumor that they might be trying to stretch Donald Goodson out a little bit.
Yeah, you know, you start to look at the playoff picture. If they don't get that #1 seed, then they'll have to figure out a pitching plan for multiple games. So you start to say, who are the starters going to be for that? Besides Ty, of course.
First pitch to Strong, checked foul. He got the second base running appearance in this game. In the 5th, it was a walk. He reached second base. Until now, that was the furthest that a base runner got.
Right.
Big time save on the line for Garrett Price here tonight.
He'd love to get himself a ground ball here.
Looking for his 6th one. 24 2/3 innings, 15 walks, 26 Ks coming into play here today. Lifted foul. Jordan Hovey, Colton Horner on the bench here tonight for Jim Essien. If you were to see a pinch hitter of those two, I would guess Horner.
I would think so, yep. Managers don't like to pinch hit their catcher too much, though. Their backup catcher.
True.
Ooh.
Busted inside.
Looked almost like he tried to lean into that one a little bit.
Last appearance for Price. 2 hits given up, no runs, though. 20 pitches. He coaxed the save, his 2nd in a row. He's had 3 in his last 10 appearances.
That's a nice
whiff and a miss there for the 2nd out.
93 and away. That's a tough pitch.
Beavers 3 strikes away from notching their 3rd win here in the push to the playoff standings. 9 points overall if they can capture one here today and move ahead of the Unicorns here tonight. Now an in for strike one on John Hodo for 2 tonight. Couple ground balls, one to the first baseman Ron Williams Jr., which became a little bit of an adventure just with his speed. Williams Jr. having to range across the bag pretty quickly, and Christman covering. Hodo waiting in the 1-1. Lofted off the glove, and that made the difference. It finds its way into center field. Bethencourt being waved around. He's in, standing up, and don't look now, but we're tied at 1.
Incredible. That's the kind of game this is. You know, the Unicorns didn't give up, found ways to get men on base, and all it took was one key base hit, and John Hodo was the man.
Boy, you can't necessarily falter Jared Price for going after the ball, just a reaction type of play, but that might have been the difference for that ball going into the outfield.
Yeah, we'll never know for sure, of course, but yeah, you have to just play the game at full speed, and you can't really think too much about that stuff. We may be getting that pinch hitter we talked about here.
So now Jim Asian trying to take the lead. Who would have thunk? Get the bullpen on extreme readiness here. 1-1. Our score here. That does look like Donald Goodson throwing down the right field line.
Yeah, that is him.
So Horner hits for Finney.
Makes sense.
Catcher for catcher substitution. Straight 92-mile-an-hour fastball in there for strike one.
Not an easy job to come off the bench in this spot.
What was your approach when you came off the bench in a situation like this where it's been so long since batting practice? Obviously a cold night as well.
Well, prep-wise, you have to try to stay busy and stretch a lot, move around a lot, stay warm, but mine was to hack at the first pitch. I liked, as long as first pitch in the zone that I was at all timed up to. Try to hack. You got to get the bat off your shoulder. It's very easy to stand there and get stiff and take too many pitches. I wasn't good at everything in baseball. I had a lot of weaknesses, but pinch hitting is one thing that I was better than the average player at.
1-2 is outside 2-2. Currently 58 degrees. It feels colder certainly though with the sun down.
I'd consider picking Hodo right now, I'll tell you that much. The backside runner, put something on. He's got a huge lead over there at first.
Quarter away, nearly between first and second right now.
Well, doesn't matter, I guess.
Strike three to the pinch hitter Colton Horner, but the damage has been done. Bethencourt comes around to score here in the 7th inning. And now all of a sudden, these Unicorns have a chance. Well, it's time for our moment to shine here today. It's your Genesis Credit Union 7th inning stretch. They are not doing it in the stadium here today, so get ready. Here we go. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Yeah, there we go.
I think I need more of a background type voice because you're the leader on this broadcast. I gotta do more backup.
7th inning stretch brought to you by Genesis Credit Union here tonight.
Well, there's the answer to your question.
I'm a little surprised, but not completely. You never can be completely surprised. I mean, he says he's good to go. That means he's good to go in their minds. 97 pitches thrown by Ty Hensley here tonight. Sam Troyer, TJ Riles, Cesar Cuevas, your Zach Hart agency, 3 men, 2 up. So the defense changes slightly behind him, which for a pitcher can be sort of a big deal, throwing to a new battery mate.
Sure.
Here in a tight game in the 7th.
He's a good one, though.
Sure is. I mean, you, in a small sample size from what we've just seen, I mean, you call him one of the better receiving catchers already here in the USPBL from the small body of work.
And it's tough to be a good receiver when you're working with a pitching staff that's all new to you like this. You know, it's not like he's been around working with these guys for a while. He doesn't know how their ball moves. He doesn't, know everything that they throw. So I can only imagine that he's a superb receiver when he's working with a staff all year.
The bullpen is deep for Jim Essien should this game go into extras, but not a complete factor. I mean, you really only need to fill 2 innings because of the... Or actually, what is our new
It is.
rule?
It's 2 innings
is.
still, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you
Oh,
can
yeah, because 1 point for a tie.
One
Correct.
point for a tie after 2 innings. So that could put a little bit of a hiccup into the standings to some degree. You know, it's a different kind of a situation anyway.
Damon Ellis, Donald Goodson, Nolan Clenny, Luke Dawson, Bobby Comidis, Miguel C. Reno, Greg Shanahan, all theoretically could go here tonight. There hasn't been a clear path as to who is going to start going forward consistently because we've seen some bullpen games recently. Ty Hensley wanting that. There's a lot of talking and stretching going on there, and I think they're believing this is Ty's inning right now, at least. Here's the 1-2 to Troyer outside.
Certainly either one of these starting pitchers today in line for player of the game. Just a matter of who wins this one, maybe.
So a game tomorrow and a game Sunday for the Unicorns, so take that in mind. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Ty Hensley. 10 for Ty. Not the most completely easy thing to do, given what Garrett Crissman was trying to do in the previous inning. Ty may be thinking that, hey, I'm going to air it out at the end of the 6th inning and try to give my chance, or my team a chance to score a run. They did. And all of a sudden he's back out there. If this were to go to extras, it looks like Jared Price might pitch another. There is nobody warming up in the Beavers pen. It's one thing to have confidence in your offense, but I think if they were going to put a new arm in, certainly with Ty Hensley on the mound, I think they would have somebody warming up out there for sure.
Sure. Well, it's, just speaking from a percentage standpoint, you really don't want to get into an extra inning situation with the Unicorns if you can avoid it. You know, they've got a pretty deep pen compared to most teams.
90 miles an hour in Byam, 2-2. So remind you can also track us on Twitter now. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We have 17 of you watching on Twitter, so I'm seeing that's gaining in popularity. Looks like Zach Gray has joined us there. Hello, Zach.
Hey.
Here's the 2-2. In for strike 3. Hensley with back-to-back Ks. No stopping him in the 7th.
Curveball definitely better today than his previous outing. Both command and bite.
Cesar Cuevas, 0 for 2 today. A strikeout in the 3rd and a pop-out back in the 5th inning. Outside 1-0. Popped him up down the third base line. Bethencourt laboring. That one does spark its way out of play. And actually, Dan, that looks to be... Is that Jordan Finney still behind the dish?
Is it really? I didn't even check that.
Lori Strong commenting on Facebook saying, are you sure that isn't still Finney? Colton wears a two-piece mask and the last batter had a beard. Curveball in for strike 2.
So he did not pinch it. It sure looked like they were sending up a pinch hitter.
I think they did, but...
We should know this, I guess, but I sure thought they sent up a pinch hitter.
Fly ball to right field. That's sending Tackis back, circling around, and then into the glove for out number 3. Strikeout, fly out, and that punches the ticket to extra innings here. More after this on the USPBL Network.
You've been charged with a crime in Macomb County. You need an attorney who will protect your liberty and stand between you and the whole force of the government. You need Vince Manzella and the team at Lucido and Manzella on your side. Vince grew up in Macomb County. Vince knows the people in Macomb County. Vince understands the Macomb County court system, and he aggressively fights for Macomb County residents every day. Lucido and Manzella, 586-228-3900.
It's the summer event of the season, and quite possibly the only event of the season. It's the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event, going on now at Crest Lincoln.
Travel further for less and drive the 2020 Lincoln MKZ Hybrid. Lease today for only $323 per month. Or ride in the luxury of the all-new 2020 Lincoln Corsair. Lease today for only $341 per month.
Make a new summer memory today. Visit Crest Lincoln in Sterling Heights or shop today at crestlincoln.com.
Lombardo Homes, your sponsor of Extra Innings here tonight. Well, from a no-hitter going into the 7th inning with one out still as well for Garrett Crissman. He was lifted for Jared Price when he allowed a leadoff error to reach, and then the single by Nick Snyder struck out Seth Strong. Another single by John Hodo drove in the game-tying run, and
there's Finney at second. As a reminder, we have international rules extra innings here, so a runner starts at second base to start the inning.
First pitch to Blaze. He's bunting down the third base line. It's a good one. Price comes off the mound. Bobbles. Everybody is safe.
Love to see that. Not only was he, rewarded with a base hit there, but he tried to bunt that ball toward third base, which is exactly what you want to do with a man on second. You want to make that third baseman to commit to coming in to get the ball. That'll guarantee that you advance the runner, and it was such a good bunt that it was just too tough of a play to get him out at first. He's rewarded with the base hit.
Spencer Stockton, one of the fine quote-unquote graduates of the USPBL watching on Twitter, says tie for president.
Sure.
First pitch to Frankie Luska outside.
Beavers will play in to try to cut down the runner at home here.
Here's the 1-0 to Luska. Slider the bent in for strike one. Some more action in the Beavers bullpen. That's Jack Ferguson down there. Closer at the beginning of the year for the Beavers. Might be a short lease here for Jared Price and extras in the 8th. Spencer Stockton, 45 innings last year in the USPBL, 10 walks to 46 strikeouts. .260 ERA, got himself a minor league contract. One of the products at a Jacksonville University. Austin Shoemaker, who's currently on injured reserve, played there. Greg Shanahan pitched there as well. High and away. And now the pond is full of ducks with no outs to begin the 8th inning. Partly due because of the international rules to start this 8th inning, with Jordan Finney being the last out in the 7th. He started on second base. He's now on third as the potential go-ahead run in the first of only 2 that will be played here tonight in extras.
This might not be a popular opinion, but if I were the manager, I'd consider playing back in the middle here and turning 2. I know that would allow a run to score, but with the international rules, extra innings, I just think that you score enough, you know, with that man starting on second to where you can tie the game in the bottom half.
First pitch on the ground. G. Lee, it finds its way through. 1 run around to score. Here comes the second. Easily standing up. It's Malik Blaze. And a 2-run advantage for the Corns here in the 8th.
Well, you know, that's why that's a debatable situation. If Geely's playing back there, they turn 2 easily and the 1-run scores, but then they'd have 2 outs, you know, and as it turned out, obviously they're in a much worse situation now.
First 2 RBIs for Aaron Takis of his USPBL career, his second hits. Worked a walk back in the 4th inning. Seems so long ago against Garrett Crissman. And now this Unicorns team in business, and they shouldn't slow down here in the 8th with no outs and runners on first and second.
Well, we've talked before about how important it is to score multiple runs in extra innings, and they've already scored 2, but with the international rules, just scoring the 1 is generally not enough.
Slider in for strike 1. That was actually Amani Godfrey warming up for the Beavers, not Jack Ferguson. There's also some action in the Unicorns pen.
It's a nice breaking ball right there.
0-2 on Dominic Bethencourt. He reached on an error back in the 7th. That's where it kind of all started for Garrett Crissman. Bethencourt came around to score to tie the game up on the single by John Hodo. The second RBI of the year for Hodo. None bigger. Swing and a miss on the slider. There is the first out. Coley Curry's been a pretty hot hitter his last 10. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Checked into play with a .259 average on the season. In his last 10, though, .321. He's evened out his walks to strikeouts a little bit more because of that. 6 walks to 7 Ks. Now on the season, 13 walks to 18 strikeouts. Now the 0-1. Another slider. Found its way into left. Riles camped under it for out number 2. So Jared Price trying to keep the damage at 2 runs. And remember, they'll start with the runner on second base. Will the Beavers in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Cuevas will be their runner, with Jalen Smith, Jonathan Brandt, and Ron Williams Jr. coming up. That look brought to you by Zach Hart Agency.
It's a really big advantage defensively for the Unicorns as well. Now with the 2-run lead, they can kind of forget about that run at second base. It really doesn't mean anything anymore, and they can just play back and worry about the hitter. Takes away a lot of that situational baseball.
Nick Snyder had one of the 2 hits in that 7th inning, was ended up stranded at second base in the end. But he kept that inning going, and he was the last batter that Garrett Crissman faced. Wasn't at all surprised to see, or he got the first hit, I beg your pardon. That's a lot bigger than
Snyder got
what
the
I was
first hit, yep.
Making it out for. Chopped foul down the line. So this is actually Colton Horner, so that answers our interesting question, which I'm still a little confused about. Colton Horner coming into the spot of the designated hitter, Nick Snyder here. Two and two on Colton Horner. Oh, so we're confused ourselves here, Dan, as they confirm this in our ears. So he actually pinch ran at second base. We thought, just because Jim Essian was coming out and making the change, that Horner was the sub for Finney. So we apologize, everybody.
Yes. Yeah, when Horner went into the game in that spot, I guess we naturally assumed that he was hitting for his fellow catcher who was at the plate, but in fact he was pinch running. So that makes more sense now.
Similar build, certainly, as well at the plate. On the ground to the second baseman, Freddie Geely. That is for out number 3. So after a hot start for these Unicorns bats in the 8th inning, 2-run score. Finney and Blaze back with the bottom of the 8th, and see if the Beavers can catch back up when we get back.
Suds on Mound offers plenty of options to get your laundry done. Clean, convenient, and with clear, low pricing. No confusing cards to load or upcharges for hot water, like the other guys. We operate with quarters for one price washes with maximum water settings to get your clothes cleaner, faster. We offer 61 machines, including 3 80-pound washers, the largest in production. Suds on Mound offers self-service, wash, dry, and fold service, and we can even service entryway rugs and king-size down-filled comforters. Washes can be done as fast as 16 minutes. Our Speed Queen machines are the only brand still made in America, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
Hi, I'm Jason from Suds on Mound. Come on in, we'll get you clean. All right, Ruby, you're all set.
Mention this ad for 10% off your wash, dry, and fold service.
How quickly things can change. Jared Price, the closer for the Beavers, was out for the save in the 7th. In the end, it was a blown save, and he also gives up the lead here in the top half of the 8th. Now Nolan Clenny looks for the save opportunity here tonight.
And all of a sudden, Ty Hensley with a chance to win the ball game, which I don't think we necessarily saw happening at one point. But Nolan Clenny, a great guy to hand the ball to, certainly. Last time we saw him out, ended up being the player of the game in a closing situation, getting a 4-out save, getting a key out with the bases loaded in the 6th. And the Unicorns with a great advantage here with the 2-run lead. They can forget about that international rules runner at second base and just play defense, so certainly a big advantage here.
Nolan Clenny leads the USPBL in saves with 8. 8 saves, a 1.52 ERA. This is his 22nd appearance. 7 walks to 33 strikeouts. He will face Jalen Smith, Jonathan Brennan, Ron Williams Jr., Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up. Two scoreless outings in a row for Clenny, and he's only given up 1 combined hit in those 2. 2 walks compared to 4 strikeouts. Last outing a save. His saves have been sporadic lately. And some of that has been because of the games he's been coming in on.
Yeah, some just haven't been safe situations.
Right back at him. Good job to stay calm, as he had plenty of time to get Jalen Smith. Against Cesar Cuevas is the international run representative at second base to start the inning. Well, the numbers are pretty different this year to last year. 38 innings of work last year for Nolan Clenny. Did have 8 saves, but his ERA 4.23. Asked Justin Orendup before the game, who's the most improved bullpen arm from last year? He said this man and Dugan Darnell.
That makes sense.
And those two are your best two closers in the league. Right up there for the ERA chases.
Certainly guys that I would give a look if I were a scout in affiliated ball.
Cuevas able to scamper to third base here. So that run at third base doesn't mean the game by any means, a tying or a go-ahead run. But it makes it one run closer, and it also would turn it back to the top of the order if Jonathan Brandt can find a way to drive him in. The MO of Brandt lately, and I guess all season long, has been more his walks and hits. Just a 137 average. Hiked his on-base percentage up to 323 at this point. Part of that has to do with his 8 walks in his last 10 games compared to only 2 strikeouts, one of them being tonight. Good block by Finney. And the count fills at 3-2.
Finney does a nice job leading with his glove when he's blocking side to side.
Swing and a miss. Struck him out for the second out here in the 8th.
Well, at one time, R.J. Williams was the hitting star of this ballgame. Certainly the biggest hit of the first 6 innings. I guess it's fitting that it comes down to him.
Single and an RBI back in the 3rd inning as he looks at a 91-mile-an-hour fastball outside. For Clenny, the fastball has averaged out right around there. 91.5. Topped out at 95 this year. A slider at 82. Thrown that nearly as much as his 4-seam fastball coming into play here today. %49 strikes between the called strikes and the swings and misses on the slider. 25% on the fastball. Well, this is another guy who has kind of reinvented himself as well in the USPBL. Right up there with Ty Hensley. They throw together on off days. 2-1 high and away at 91. So Ron Williams Jr. ahead in the count now with Freddie Geely on deck. He's 0 for today. Change up in for strike 2. Throws that just 16% of the time, but also gets pretty good results overall with it. 1 strike away from sealing the deal here. Pop fly. It's going to take some effort. Too much effort. As Luska has no chance. Bethencourt going after it as well. He's gotten his sprints in. When you look at all the plays he's gone after here tonight.
That's for sure. Well, you don't want to walk Williams here. He's a guy who can steal a base. He becomes the tying run. You want to challenge him here.
3-2, got him! Nolan Clenny stays atop the league as your saves leader, notches number 9 here today with his 2nd strikeout in a row. And that's quite the emphatic victory for the Unicorns here today. They snapped the no-hitter away from Garrett Crissman in the 7th inning with 1 out. It was the leadoff error by Dominic Bethencourt that came around to score. That tied the game off the knock from John Hodo, Jordan Finney, Malik Blaze, both scoring the extra innings runs in the top of the inning as they sent 7 to the plate against Jared Price. And the #1 team in the regular season trying to inch up the standings and become the #1 team in the push to the playoffs as well, Dan.
Well, that game was everything we hope it would lived up to be. I mean, those two heavyweight starting pitchers went head-to-head as much as they possibly could have, and Ty Hensley ends up winning the battle, but it was quite a battle, and it could have gone either way at the end. That was a great game if you're a baseball fan.
Catch up with our Michigan Surgery Specialist Player of the Game in our Auto Lab post-game show from the United Shore Media Desk when we get back here on the USPBL Network.
If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorns. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you. If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we're unicorns. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you.
What makes Detroit Mercy so unique is the fact that it's in the middle of Detroit. The urban setting is really fantastic to be a part of, and especially with their service learning programs, you really get a chance to be a part of the community.
My education here isn't just academic. This school wants you to be the best you that you can be. All aspects of the things that I do here have participated in giving back.
Detroit Mercy. Build a boundless future.
Want to hit your home cleanup project out of the park? Well, making sure that your driveway is safe from damage? Rent a rubber-wheeled trailer from GFL and keep all of your bases covered. Our trailers come in 20 and 30-yard sizes for all your cleanup needs. Call GFL today to order your driveway-safe rubber-wheeled trailer. Team GFL, helping you win your cleanup project.
They called it the 1,000-year flood. They were having homes and businesses flooded, and the roads were being washed out.
My entire house is going to be flooded. Okay, do you have a second story?
A lot of fear that we were going to lose a lot of people. When we heard the police station was flooded, we immediately gave them our command center to operate out of.
Belfour was our savior. Sheldon and his team restored 25 of our businesses and more than 1,500 residences.
At Belfour, we're restoring more than property.
Order Jimmy John's and we'll bring it to your car door. Leave it at your front door or have it ready for you at our drive-thru. Just use jimmyjohns.com or our app to tell us what sandwiches, drinks, chips, and cookies you're hungry for. When you want it and how you want it. We're ready.
Everybody, welcome back to the United Shore Media Desk. Dan Griesbaum Jr. here with the Michigan Surgery Specialist Player of the Game, Ty Hensley, at our Auto Lab post-game show. Ty, I hate to start out by asking you about a player besides yourself when you're the player of the game, but tonight going up against Garrett Crissman, I mean, what a outstanding pitchers matchup. I mean, before the game, we couldn't talk about anything except that matchup, and it lived up to everything it could have been. Do you have any, I guess, overall opinion about Garrett's performance, too?
Yeah, I thought he pitched phenomenal. Per usual, every time he walks out there, I mean,
I mean, the team has a chance to win the game. You know what I mean? So I thought he did a great job. He battled his butt off. You know, like we were talking about earlier, could have kind of fell either way. So.
Sure. Do you feel like when you're facing someone on the other side who's also an ace, do you feel like it does anything different to you as far as your game goes?
I'm not sure that you really pay attention to that. I'm sure he'd probably tell you the same thing too. But you know, I think it just makes it more fun to watch. I guess. Sure. You know, I think you know, both teams right from the get-go kind of have a chance to win and compete. So no, I think it's just makes for a fun matchup for sure.
Sure. We talked you know, last time out. Had maybe one of your lesser outings, I guess. Your curveball wasn't quite there the way that it normally is. Today, you really established your curve about halfway through your outing. What'd you do to make that correction this time out?
You know, I think it's one of those things. You know, during my warm-up pitches, you know, between innings, I always kind of mix my pitches around. And, you know, it's one of those things. If it's not working, well, let's you know, let's get it right. So I think I just picked that one. I can't remember if it was the third or the fourth.
Yep.
Where I was, you know, I threw one fastball and it was like, okay, I'm gonna throw 5 curveballs here, and then we'll throw it down. You know, so
sure.
I think that was the real game changer there. You know, I was definitely glad to see it come back.
Right.
Because, you know, like you said, last couple games, it's kind of been a struggle for me. You know, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you're accomplishing everything you could possibly accomplish this season so far. You know, last year you were healthy, you got a lot of innings under your belt. This year you're really taking control and dominating and a top of the rotation guy for your team. What's it going to take, in your opinion, just from a standpoint of your arsenal or your overall game to get to that next level, get back into affiliated ball?
You know, I think I'd be lying if I said I hadn't done enough at this point. I mean, I'm right there.
Just a matter of circumstance, and
yeah. I mean, you know, obviously it's a long time ago, but you know, there's a reason I was a first-round pick, and I feel like I'm, you know, obviously I've had the injuries and everything happen, but
right.
You know, I'm past that point now. You know, I've shown I think I'm pretty close to like 200 innings. You know, I'm going out there taking the ball every single week whenever I need to. I'm staying healthy. You know, and I'm showing that, you know, I can throw strikes. You know,
sure.
I think that was the real thing for me to kind of, you know, it's obviously like, can you stay healthy? Okay, check that box. You know, then it's like, can I compete? Yeah, I can compete, but it was still like last year. You know, it was like I finished on a really high note. You know, the last like several outings, I got into like the 7th inning. And,
right.
But, it was really just. I would just say it was the biggest hurdle to climb was the mental hurdle.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that. You know, people who have had multiple surgeries, a lot of people that don't come back, I don't think it's because they don't get healthy.
Right.
I think it's just because the last thing that comes back is that the way to compete.
Sure.
And like it's just something like it's tough to explain, but it's one of those things that like you just like you have to keep playing to get it back, and it's really frustrating until you get it back. But no, like, you know, I'll you know, cut the soap opera there, but
no,
it's you know, I think I've done what I needed to do here. You know, unfortunately, circumstances of this year is kind of a little bit different.
Minor league baseball not really operating.
Yeah,
and,
you know what? In the same sense, I really do feel like I could go help somebody right now.
Sure.
I'm you know, I'm
part of the taxi squad or the major league squad. Even.
Absolutely. I'm 27. You know, I've always been able to elevate my game, you know, wherever I go. So I'm ready. You know, there's not much else to say. I'm ready to go.
Well, all you affiliated scouts watching out there, this guy's ready to help your ball club at any time. He's certainly ready to step in, and he's healthy, and everything's clicking right now. You know, last thing I wanted to ask you about, it seems like you're also becoming sort of a mentor to these guys. It seems like when it's time to go out to the mound and get something right with the pitching staff, it seems like you're going out there more often than that. Is that something that you've enjoyed taking on lately?
Yeah, you know, I think it's funny because you know, people have asked me like, would I ever be interested in coaching, and no. In a team situation, I don't think that really interests me. But I do like, you know, I do a lot of lessons with like young kids, and
sure.
I really do enjoy that. But you know, I'd say here it's just, you know, I'm somebody who's, you know, been around, kind of seen quite a bit, and I think that I can pass a little perspective to some of these other guys.
Sure. Well, you're about as veteran as it gets for this league, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think I am the oldest person here.
Right.
So,
right.
But no, it's just, you know, I think we all just kind of have this, you know, trust going around. You know, like, we've all seen each other throw enough. It's like, if I see something, they see something with me, tell me, I'll tell them, So I think, we all just kind of help each other.
Sure.
So.
Well, it's been a real pleasure watching you this year. Of course, we're okay if we never see you in a Unicorns uniform again, though. We're looking forward to watching you on TV, certainly, and we appreciate you being here for the post-game show, and just a terrific outing here today between Ty Hensley and Garrett Crissman. And Jeremy Otto, back to you upstairs.
Thanks, Dan. You mentioned kind of the one thing, or Ty Hensley's kind of achieved everything this year. Maybe the only thing left is his second championship with the Utica Unicorns consecutively here. We'll see if he can do that. This win here tonight goes a long way in terms of their playoff seeding. The Hoppers still on top with 12 points and 3 games remaining. 9 points now for these Utica Unicorns with 5 games remaining. Sort of a crippling loss for the Beavers here tonight. They've only got 3 countable games left. Technically 5 when you count the doubleheaders, but those do not count towards these push to the playoff standings. And the Mammoths still without a victory or any points going forward in the last spot with 5 games remaining. Certainly tune in tomorrow. It's the Unicorns and the Mammoths going at it. 7:05 first pitch. We're on the air at 6:50 p.m. here on Facebook, YouTube, and now Twitter, newly to the USPBL network. For my broadcast partner, Dan Griesbaum Jr., our director here today, PJ Kwiatkowski, everybody on staff as well, Jeremiah Hergott, Katie Page, everyone who makes this broadcast happen, along with our fine cameramen here tonight. I'm Jeremy Otto. We will see you tomorrow.